McCarthy is with us in studio. To you, Congressman.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, sir. I guess a lot of people out there have this question. Why are you back here and not back in Washington trying to work out a deal on this tax cut extension?
Well, that's a great question. The reason why I was just in Washington, left last night, where we voted on a bill. There is no bill in the House now, and what happens is, if the House passes the bill and the Senate passes a bill, you go to conference. It's what the Constitution says. So the conferees have been appointed, and what you saw in the news earlier was the Speaker there with the conferees from the House waiting for the Senate to get there so we could solve the differences. You have a bill in both houses, now you've got to have one that comes to the final agreement and solves the problem.
So, Congressman, it's sort of ironic that House Republicans are now being accused of dropping a lump of coal in the stockings of roughly 160 million Americans who would benefit from the extension of the payroll tax cuts with the holidays upon us.
Yeah, it's really outrageous when you think of it, because the House has passed a bill that gives a tax cut for the entire year, meaning you get $1,000. Whereas the Senate, the Democrats have passed one that's only for 2 months, a little over $100, and create uncertainty. The payroll people say it could be very big difficulty on doing the new software to make it happen, and such a short time period.
Well, we're going to get back to that and the attachments that the GOP put on that bill. But first of all, your colleague, Democratic Congressman Jim Costa of Fresno, accuses your party of playing a high-stakes game of, well, chicken at the expense of families across the country. Here's what he had to say today. And he said, "No one disagrees that we need a long-term agreement on these provisions, but it's irresponsible to let them lapse in favor of brinksmanship. Approving the two-month extension does not take a long-term deal off the table, but it does protect workers from a tax hike in 12 days. Your response?
Not true. Because the House has passed the bill, the Senate has passed the bill. You want to end the uncertainty. You want it to be a full year. I think people, $1,000 and $100, there's still time to get this done. Who's playing brinkmanships are those who won't come to the table. You know, the Constitution was created for the House and Senate to pass a bill and fix it. Now, in the Senate version, how do they pay for theirs? They actually charge you. So anyone buying a house coming in January with Freddie or Fannie, you're going to have a higher fee.
Okay.
I don't think that's the best way of going about doing it.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You attached amendments to the House bill that would help balance the payments or the cost of extending the tax cuts, right?
Yes.
But you also attached a bill that would force the Obama administration to approve the Keystone Pipeline. That's the Canada to Texas pipeline that's being studied and studied and studied. But did you not do that? And if you did, why did you put that on the end of that tax cut bill?
Well, last I looked, is high unemployment in America. Last I looked, gas prices are very high. Here's an opportunity to improve our energy at the same time create 20,000 jobs.
Yeah, but you're being criticized for playing politics. You're being criticized for playing politics with the tax cut measure by attaching the Keystone Pipeline bill to that tax cut measure.
I don't see how attaching something that creates jobs. If you go to a conference, Senate doesn't like it, you don't have to do it. But you know what? The Senate agreed to it. And this doesn't force the president to say he has to have it. It just forces him to make a decision. Why? Because the president, after years of study, says, I'll make the decision when? Oh, right after the next election. Well, I don't think we can wait to create jobs to after the next election. And what does the Prime Minister of Canada say? If America doesn't take it, what are they going to do with the oil? They're going to sell it to China. So if we want to create jobs here, if we want to have an energy cost that we can actually become energy independent and a lower cost to create jobs, we're going to have to do something about it.
Okay, we're running out of time, Congressman. Crystal ball, get it out. Will we see a resolution to this dispute on extending payroll tax cuts before the clock ticks out?
I think we will. Republicans have passed a bill. We're sitting with our conferees right there. I'll be right back right after Christmas leading the conferees as well. All you got to do is allow the Senate to come into the room. We're not far apart, but I do think America would rather have a full year and end and get $1,000 instead of $100 in 2 months.
All right, Bakersfield Congressman Kevin McCarthy, as always, thanks so much for coming in tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Merry Christmas, Congressman. Coming up on 17 News, building